So in this factorizing video, we are going to consider something that looks like this. 2x squared minus 5x minus 25 equals to 0. And we're going to want to solve this equation. So notice it has everybody, has an A and a B and a C. The previous ones were somewhat special cases of this one, which they were able to be done in a little bit shorter method. So in this one, what are we going to do? Well, the first thing we're going to consider is we need two numbers, and they have to multiply together to give us negative 50. That's coming from this minus 25 multiplied by 2. So if we consider the ways to get negative 50 by multiplication, here are going to be some of those ways. And we could switch those signs around and make it 1 and negative 50. 2 and negative 25, and 5 and negative 10. All of these pairs will give us negative 50. So we need two numbers that are going to multiply to give us negative 50 and that are going to add to give us negative 5. All these multiply to give us negative 50. That came from these two. Which one of these pairs adds to give us negative 5? It looks to me like the one we want is this right here. 5 and negative 10 add to give us negative 5. So we're going to rewrite this equation then in a manner like this. 2x squared minus 25 is going to be here at the end. And we need in the middle, instead of writing minus 5x, we're going to write plus 5x minus 10. Or if we want, we can write minus 10 plus 5x. Let's do that one. Minus 10x plus 5x. And in case you're wondering what's happening here, those two are coming from that guy. Minus 5x is this right here. But we're using our pairing over here in order to rewrite this. And the benefit for us of doing that is now we are able to group these first two together and group these back two together. So if I group the first two together, let's just consider these and let's consider these. So I'm going to have a big plus in the middle still, but if I group them together, notice that both of these have a 2x in them. And notice that both of these have a 5 in them. Now, this is a little bit more involved than the other ones, but this is important for us to be able to do. Now, if I look at this, they both had a 2x. So what is left over in this one? If I take a 2x out, it leaves me with an x minus, and then I took a 2x out of that, so divide that by 2 and it produces 5. Similarly over here, I took a 5 out, so that leaves me with an x minus, and then if you divide a 5 out of 25, you have x minus 5. Now, if you have done this all as I have done, and you've properly done it, what you're going to notice is always, if it's factorizable, if you're able to find a pair over here that add to this guy, then these purple things are always going to be the same. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to factor this whole big mess. They both have a red x minus 5. So we can put the red x minus 5 out front and then put the leftovers in a bracket right here. So what are those leftovers? If I take the x minus 5 out and the x minus 5 out, it leaves me with 2x plus 5. And so then this, even though I use these boxy brackets, it's the same idea as x minus 5 brackets 2x plus 5. And that is what this blue one up here factorizes into. So now if we were going to solve it, we can write either x minus 5 equals 0, or we can write 2x plus 5 equals to 0. And so what are we going to have here? We're going to get x equals 5 as an answer. And over here, let's move that. Let's come up here a little bit. Let's move the 5 over. So it's 2x equals negative 5. And then when we divide by 2 on each side, we get x equals negative 5 over 2. So two answers to this problem, just like the other ones. One of the answers is going to be x equals 5. And the other answer is going to be x equals negative 5 over 2. And again, it's worth your time to take this and plug it into both of those places and see that it produces a 0. and take this 5 and plug it into both of those places and see that it produces.